Hello, Emma Reads Crime here, your fellow crime, thriller and mystery book lover. Welcome to my YouTube channel. For today, I'm going to show you 15 books which I have on my bucket list. And what I mean by bucket list books are basically books that I want to read before I kick the bucket and die. Cheery, I know. I promise that the aim of this video is not to be extremely depressing, and to offset that morbidity, I thought I'd film outside because it's sunny at last. Who'd have thought? And my ulterior motive for filming outside is that I can also be on duck watch. We've got a few ducks which like to come into our back garden, and honestly they bring me so much joy. I know that you're here for books and not for ducks, but if any do appear I will quickly show you. Anyway, if you've loved any of these books which are on my bucket list, please let me know in the comments and hold me accountable because I really need to read them. The first book on my bucket list is basically a classic, and that is The Secret History by Donna Tartt. I think most of you will know what this book is about by now, so I won't bore you with the blurb, but it's meant to have strong dark academia vibes, and I love dark academia. I've been putting off reading this for a while for two main reasons. First of all, I swapped this at Free Little Library, and the copy I've got is grubby AF. It's absolutely disgusting. The second reason is that I'm just really worried it's going to be pretentious and that I'm going to hate it. I might try this on audio to start off with and see how I get on. The next book on my bucket list is The Night Swim by Megan Goldin. I have heard nothing but incredible things about this book, and I picked it up last year when I went to 66 Books, so it was less than £3. It was an absolute bargain. It basically follows a true crime podcaster, and her podcast resulted in an innocent man being set free, and now she's back covering a devastating rape trial. I've not come across that many books where podcasters are investigating as opposed to the police, but when I have come across them, I've really enjoyed them, so I've got really high hopes. I believe that this is book 1, but I've heard bad things about book 2, but I'll see how I got on with this one first. Next up is Without a Blessing by Jo Spain. If you followed me on BookTube for a while, or if you've seen my Instagram or TikTok accounts, you may know that Jo Spain is my all-time favourite author. I have read all of her standalone books, but what I've not read is her Detective Inspector Tom Reynolds series. This is book 1, and I made a promise to myself that I would read the whole series this year, but we're now in June and time is slipping away from me and I really need to get to them. Police procedural is one of my all-time favourite tropes, and the fact that my favourite author has a police procedural series means I'm probably going to absolutely love them, so I don't know what I'm doing with my life. I really need to prioritise them. The next book on my bucket list is The Chain by Adrian McKinnity. I've seen loads of rave reviews for this, and also the premise sounds fantastic. Your phone rings and a stranger has kidnapped your child. To free them, you must abduct someone else's child. Your child will be released when your victim's parents kidnap another child. If any of these things don't happen, then your child will be killed. I have never come across a premise like that. It sounds so intriguing. I have another series for you which is on my bucket list, and that is the Eddie Flynn series. This isn't book 1. I can't remember what book 1 is called. I want to say it's called like The Defense, but I want to read this series and I want to read them in order, so I need to get myself to the works because they've just released them all in new covers. I believe that the Eddie Flynn series is a legal thriller series, and Steve Kavanagh, the author, I believe he used to be a barrister, so the fact that somebody with a strong legal knowledge and background has written legal thrillers means that they're probably going to be factually correct and fantastic, and I do wonder if he's taken any inspo from real life. The next book isn't a thriller book, but as a kid, Jacqueline Wilson was my favourite author, and I'm actually ashamed that I haven't read Think Again yet, her latest adult novel. I've read 3 of the 4 original books, so I need to read the 4th one and then get straight on this. I'm going to give myself a deadline for this because she's got her new adult novel coming out later on in the year, which follows on from the Illustrated Mum, so I really want to read this, then read the Illustrated Mum, and then read that. Quite a lot of fellow crime book lovers last year said that A Calamity of Souls by David Baldacci was their book of 2024, and ever since then I have been desperate to read it. I bought it last summer in the airport so that I could get the trade paperback, and then I just ran out of time on holiday and didn't get a chance to read it, and it's been sitting on my shelf ever since. It's quite a chunky book and it's meant to be a bit slow to start off with, but once you get past that initial lull, it's meant to be phenomenal, and the fact that so many people said it was their book of last year means it's very highly likely that I'm going to love it too, so I really need to prioritize it. Again, I might try this on audio to start off with to help me get through the initial slow part. 7 books down, 8 to go, and I've just realised that the honeymooners are here. If you're not interested in the ducks, I am going to timestamp this, and the next book will be Next of Kin if you're not interested in the ducks. But if you are interested in the ducks, let me show you. Here are the honeymooners. Quite often they hang around by the pond, so they're probably going to settle there very soon. Anyway, sorry, that was so random. Back to the books. I see so many 5-star reviews for Next of Kin by Kia Abdullah. I think that this is another legal thriller, and I think that when a legal thriller is done well, they can be absolutely phenomenal. For mine and Michaela's book club last year, we read one of her books. I think it was like That Couple Next Door. I can't quite remember, but I'll pin it here. And I enjoyed it and I gave it 4 stars, but it wasn't like mind-blowing. Even though I liked that book, I guess it's kind of put me off reading this in a way because I have high expectations that this is going to be a 5-star, but based on her writing from that book, I don't see it, but I just need to read it and give it a go. For the majority of these books, I have really high expectations. However, that is not the case for The Drift by C.J. Tudor. I read The Chalkman a few years ago and I was kind of underwhelmed. I thought it was quite average. And then I think it was last year I read The Gathering and I despised it. It was not my cup of tea at all. People rave about those books though, so it just makes me think that it's a me problem and that her style of writing is just not for me. However, loads of people have specifically told me that I need to read The Drift, and The Drift will be right up my street. So I'm going to give The Drift a chance and I'm going to go in with an open mind. However, if I end up not liking this as well, then I'm blacklisting her from my life. Not to be dramatic or anything. All the Sinners Bleed by S.A. Crosby is the kind of book I see everywhere because people always rave about it. Again, because this has been everywhere, you probably know what it's about already. I have no idea because I try and go into books blind. I Let You Go by Claire Mackintosh is another book which I picked up from 66 Books for a bargain for less than £3. People say that this book has one of the most incredible book twists ever. I am notoriously good at getting plot twists, so I'll be interested to see if this one shocks me. I read The Last Party by this author a couple of years ago and it didn't blow me away, so the fact I didn't like that book has been putting me off reading this, but I just need to get over that and read this because people say that this is her best work. Notes on an Execution is another one of those books which I just see everywhere. I've had it on my TBR for ages, but I've just not had a chance to get around to reading it. I know you shouldn't judge a book by its cover, but I really love the fox on the front cover. I think it's absolutely gorgeous. I think that this is a serial killer style book, which is my favourite trope of all time, so I have high hopes. I just need to get to it, which I keep saying about all the books, but it's true. I am 12 books down and only 3 left to go. If you've made it this far, if you're able to hit that subscribe button, it would mean the world to me. Now on for the final 3 books. Next is The Writing Retreat by Julia Bartz. Janice Hallett said that this is a 5-star read. I dare you to put it down. So if Janice Hallett has said it's good, then I want to read it. And I also know that Michaela loved it. I can't remember if she gave it a 5-star or if she gave it a 4.5, but I know that she recommends this book all the time. It's a story about authors on a writing retreat and they have to write a novel from scratch, and whoever wins gets a 7-figure publishing deal, but then women on this writing retreat begin to die. It sounds so good, and I love reading about authors because I feel like you get some juicy insight into the publishing world. A Quiet Tenant, again, as with Notes on an Execution, as with All the Sinners Bleed, I just see people rave about this book all the time. If you're a fan of this author and you're not aware, she has a book either which has just been released or is about to be released, and it sounds really good. I'll put the cover here because I can't remember what it's called. Last but not least, my final bucket list book is The Echo Man by Sam Holland. There is a serial killer on the loose, and this is meant to be extremely dark and extremely disturbing, and it really does sound right up my street. As with the other books, I have absolutely no excuse as to why I've not read this yet. I've had it on my TBR for so long. Thank you ever so much for taking your time to watch this video. As always, let me know what you think in the comments and let me know what you thought about the ducks. Thank you so much. Bye!